Shout out to Jamie Jenkins, man. Just launched his new journal line and website, HelloBlackMan.com. Hello, black man. Hey, I myself am a black man. Are you a black man as well? Even if you're not. Are you a black woman? Are you a white woman? A white man? Man, an Asian woman? A Latino man, a Latino woman? An Indian man, an Indian woman? A Native American man, a Native American woman? So many different men and women, but we talking about that black man right now. HelloBlackMan.com, man. Make sure y'all pull up to the website and check it out, man. Congrats to Jamie Jenkins on the launch of your journal line, man. HelloBlackMan.com. It's like I ain't got a tie, but makes you feel like you got a tie. Because when you got a tie on, that's when you're a journalist. All right, man.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being loyal followers of the Hello Black Man podcast. Today, I am coming to you live with my good friend Charelle Thomas. She is a love and intimacy coach. For those of you who don't know what that is, guess what? You're going to learn today. Love and intimacy is all about getting to know your partner, getting to know who you're dealing with, and healing from traumas of the past. I looked that up. I Googled that. So that's why I got that information. But it's important. It is super important to know your partner. It's super important to know who you're dealing with, not only just from a mindset point, but also a sexual point. Because if you don't know who you're dealing with, you cannot gratify and please them in all aspects of life. So Charelle is here today to talk to us about those things. I'm going to read her bio as quickly as I possibly can because it's kind of long. So I might condense it because I'm not the best reader in the world. But here goes. It says, as a love and intimacy coach, Charelle helps success-driven women create the love life they have always desired. She believes that women can have it all and work diligent to help women make this their reality. I'm glad I'm reading this because this is giving me so much content already to ask her. Charelle is a certified love coach who currently works alongside Nicole Moore, founder and CEO of Love Work Method, who has been featured in Money Magazine, Forbes, and Greatest.com. She was also trained in tantric sexuality by the late Psalm Isadora, seen in Dr. Drew, the Huffington Post, iHeartRadio, and CNN. Y'all, we not playing with no rooted poot out here. She out here with the credentials. She has been working with people who know what they're doing. After finding herself in an unhealthy and unfulfilled marriage, Charelle knew there was more to life than what she was experiencing. She had a great career, was a great mother. I will second that and say a phenomenal mother. She had but she lacked fulfillment as a wife. Ooh, how many of us have felt like that? How many of us have felt a lack of something in our relationships, in our marriages, in our mothering? She here to tell y'all some stuff today. After losing herself in her marriage, she slowly but surely rebuilt her identity and has now set out on a mission to help other women create intimacy within their home to create a fulfilling and satisfying love life. If y'all not in here, y'all better get in here because this girl is finna to lay it on the line for us, and I need it all because I'm dating, we doing something, but you know that's my boo. If y'all follow me, y'all know that's my boo. But without further ado, I want to introduce to you guys my good friend, love and intimacy coach, Charelle Thomas. Bow, 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 bow. I'll be hearing that side effect somewhere. You on mute, girl. Hold on, I'm gonna mute me.
Oh, sorry. Hi. So thank you so much for having me, and for that wonderful introduction. I really, really appreciate you and appreciate giving me the space and opportunity to share your people with me. Thank you.
Look, absolutely. You know, since the day I encountered you, we were on Derek's podcast together. Like you were kind of quiet, kind of reserved, but I knew that energy was full of flamboyancy. And then when I started following you, I was like, oh, we best friends already, and she don't even know it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same. And I was sitting in the cut just laughing at you the whole time during that interview. And I was like, okay, before we even left out of there, I was like, let me go follow her. Let me go find that. But I love it.
Yes, yes, you are absolutely the truth. So I just want to say, like, a few of my favorite Instagram posts. Do you do TikToks? I don't follow. I hadn't followed anybody on TikTok. You don't do TikTok? Not yet. Me either. I can't understand it. I'm
Me
barely getting into
either.
real. I was today. I was like, I was trying to do a reel, and I was like, I was calling my daughter, and I felt like 90 years old because I'm like, come over here and help me figure out this thing. How do I get this picture off of here and put it over here? And she's like, mom, and I'm like, don't talk to me like that. I'm not 70, but I feel like I am when it comes to dealing with TikTok and Reels. So I'm right there with
Yeah,
you. You got to get on TikTok though, because I think you would do well.
I
But
am.
just your writing techniques and oral sex techniques, like we need that. Because I know there are plenty of women out here who, and men. I don't want to single out women, but there are plenty of women and men out here who feel like they got it all together, know what they doing, and ain't hitting on snot. Girlfriend over here at the bar talking about, girl, my man ain't doing what I want him to do. But I have a question for you based on that alone. Do you think you can have it all? Do you think you can have the perfect relationship as far as emotional, physical, and all that goes and not have a great sexual relationship? And do you think you can have a great sexual relationship and lack other things? Or do you think there is a place where you can have everything that you desire?
Okay.
Okay.
So everything, everything. I'm gonna say no because our we change, our needs change. But the fundamentals of a happy and solid relationship wholeheartedly. And my belief is like you could have the physical in order for a relationship to last long term, right? I mean, like years and years and years to come. You have to have the ability to have an open mind and be able to roll with the transition. But in that transition, in order for it to last, I believe you have to have that spiritual compatibility, you have to have that mental compatibility, you have to have that emotional compatibility and physical compatibility, where sex and that physical attraction actually falls into the physical part of it. I do not feel that anyone on this earth should sacrifice in one of those four areas. Now, in terms of temporary things such as, somebody's financial status, like somebody could be wealthy one day, broke the next. Somebody can be broke one day, wealthy the next. So never base a relationship on something that the fundamentals that can change on a day-to-day basis. Weight can change, health can change, all of that. But if you have a solid foundation where you're emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically compatible, then have that. And when I say compatible, that does not mean that every box is checked. But what it does mean is that you have that ebb and flow, like where you lack or where he falls short, like you both meet each other in the middle. It's that compromise. It's that, where you fit in that puzzle, like that perfect groove, not where, okay, I got this list that he gotta have perfect teeth, he gotta have a nice smile, he gotta have like this and this and that. No, it ain't gonna work. Don't start a relationship or get into a relationship based on those fundamentals. Find what works for you. What can you live with? What feels good for you? Because that foundation is what's going to keep you in the game when those times get tough. Nobody have a perfect relationship.
Right, and these are the type of people, Charelle, that you need to surround yourself with when you're in a relationship, because there are those naysayers who are going to find the negative in everything, and those people you don't want around you. And I'm so blessed and so glad that I have had the opportunity to meet you and the people who I have in my circle. Like I said, like I always say, y'all know I'm a Betty Wright fan. I got my Mr. Charlotte is just the man crew. Because my people coming in and they gonna be like, girl, listen, that ain't even that bad. Like, you worried about that? There's somebody out there dealing with something that's way worse than what you're dealing with. And not saying you out here getting abused and beaten, all those things, but if you're in a relationship where you have because I feel like in today's society, People leave relationships for the most minute reasons, like just a lack of communication, because we lack communication in our community, in the world, so bad. A conversation can fix so many things, and nobody's willing to sit down and have conversations, and that bothers me. So that's one reason why we have created this platform, because we want everybody to know that sometimes it's just as easy as, Charelle, what did I do? Like, how did I offend you? Like, talk to me and let's fix this. And there are some people who you can't fix with just that, but for the people that you can, try to. So listen, I have a post that I read the other day that bothered my spirit, and I wanted to talk to you about it, because I know you are so level-headed, unlike myself. One of my friends, PJ Thurman, I hope he hears, sees, reads this. I hope he's on here. He said, "Hey man, while y'all out here praying for spouses, are y'all praying that y'all are getting all your finances in order, so that when you and your spouse find each other, you ain't a financial liability?" We from Mississippi, so we use words like ain't. Don't worry about that. He says, "Folks be marrying folks all the time, giving them debt right along with them. I do's. Laugh out loud." Okay, so first of all, there's no laugh out loud about that situation or matter for me. And the reason why I can say that so confidently is because I got married when I was 17. Of course, my finances were not where they needed to be. What are we doing as a community to combat financial security for our children and our children's children? Like, I feel like sometimes we're half the problem, or our parents or our grandparents, we're half the problem of our children going into relationships and marriages not being financially minded because we didn't know any better. So in your opinion, like, what do you think about people getting into marriages not knowing their spouse's financial standings or statuses?
You mean like they get married and they don't know where they are financially?
Exactly. Do you see why this question gave me a headache? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, who out here in 2022 is going into a relationship not knowing any? And I know there are people out here lying. I know. But if you hadn't seen his bank statements, if you don't know where he works, if you don't know his credit score, you have already lost. Let's just be very clear about that. But give the people some advice. I want you to talk to them on this.
So much that come up for me, like in this. How can you enter into a relationship with someone and not know about their finances and not have concrete information? But this is the thing with a lot of relationships. A lot of people get into relationships and they put on blinders to things that they know that they've seen. And then they end up pointing the finger. Well, you didn't tell me this. You didn't tell me that. And I always say, look back at yourself. Have that self awareness. There were things that you saw that didn't add up. Like, you don't just all of a sudden get into a marriage. Like, that just boggles my mind. But you don't get into a marriage and then all of a sudden you see a bank statement and be like, oh my gosh, or you see a credit report and then you say, oh my gosh, I didn't know this. You know, because what is that? That's the mentality. Your mental reflects what's in your bank statement. Like, it reflects your financial knowledge, it reflects your financial power. Like, you can't have a conversation with someone who is $100,000 in debt or whatever the case may be, and they are leading from a state of abundance. It just don't work like that. Energy doesn't lie. So there's no way that you can enter into a relationship and unless you just put those blinders on. But if you're mindful of that, like, wait a minute, this, and being true to yourself, being true to the relationship and communication, having those hard conversations in advance, you won't end up in a situation where it's just like, oh, I got married and all of a sudden she got this baggage, this liability. No, energy doesn't lie. Like, period. I don't know if you saw, I think it's called the Tender Swindler or something like that on Netflix, but it's this guy who, like, he portrays this wealthy role, has a lot of money, but what he's doing is he's getting it from people that he meet on Tinder and he's wiping them clean. Like, he's basically stealing them, misleading them, wiping them clean, but he's living this lavish life because he took their money. Energy doesn't lie. If you get to know yourself, you get to know God. Like, there's things that are planted along the way that will show you something is not right. We have intuition, we have gut. Like something is going to tell you something is not right in this situation. He may look like he got all of this, but your energy doesn't lie. Follow your intuition, follow your gut.
Absolutely. Not only follow your gut, like and let me and Charelle be clear. We are not financial literacy professionals. We are
Correct,
not
correct.
trying to give you any type of information that you need to go out and be like, hey, where your bank account at? We're just saying be smart. That's all. That's all we're saying. And this is still not professional information. But at the same time, this is not also, a first date situation. This is not a first date type of, hey, what your bank account look like. But if
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
you want to do, if that's how you go into it, that's how you go into it. You just, the person who you go into it with, if they are open and honest and they are transparent, they're gonna tell you, like, because they don't have anything to hide. And if you're not
Exactly.
going into relationships or going into situations with the mindset that this is somebody that you're going to be with for a lifetime, why are you going into them? And I want that here's another very clear cut conversation. As a single woman, you, not me. I just want to put that out there. How are you dating? Like what does a dating world look like now? Like, are you going into situations? Do you have a roster? Do you have like prospects? Like, is there somebody out there that you like? Yes. And I know from just being on other shows with you, I know these are a lot of questions, but I know from being on other shows with you, you said that you are in a very feminine energy space. So whereas I probably straddle the line, like if I see something, I'm going after it, I feel like you're more like, no, he gonna have to come to me. Tell me, tell me, what is the dating scene like these days for you? And when you go into a dating situation, are you adding people to a roster, or are you actually, adding specific prospects that you're trying to sign? That's my football knowledge.
I feel like you put me clean on the spot with this
This is a
question.
conversation. We ain't had no pre-conversation. We said we was gonna let this flow. Listen, and if you don't want to talk about it, you can very, very well say, "Hey, next question." I'm cool with that. You know how I
Yeah,
roll.
yeah, yeah. So as for me right now, I am in a transition period. 2021, I had a ball. Like I had a continuous roster where it was like it just flowed. And
Wait.
then,
Disclaimer, because I won't let men out there know. Rasta don't mean everybody she's sleeping with. It's just people that
yep,
we trying to see whether we want to date.
I'm about to break it down. So what I mean by the roster that I had, there were men in my life who were amazing conversationalists. So I had, when I wanted to have a conversation, I wanted to go deep. I wanted to talk about God. I wanted to talk about spirituality. I can select from this. Then there's one partner who I had consistently, in terms of me being able to express myself sexually. Like I had him, and I said had. Then there were others who I would let take me out on a date. Like, I'm in the mood. I want to do something fun. I feel like playing. I feel like doing this. Like, let me vibe with you. So that's what I mean about having a roster. Everybody had a role, and everybody was aware of the role that they played in my life, and they were knowledgeable of that. When it came down to me not wanting to be in a long-term relationship, I wasn't there yet. So me being me, like why shut that part of me down if I want to express myself in different ways? This is a one car garage. I do not believe in sleeping around. If there's women that, do that works for them, I don't knock them. It just doesn't sit well with my spirituality. It doesn't sit well with my character. So it's not what I do. Just put that out there. Now, in terms of, I can't see that. It's so little.
That's John Singletary. He says Charelle has pros. Well, I think he says pros, like prospects. She got
Oh,
pros in
oh.
different area codes. So what, John? Mind your business. Get you some.
I sure did. I sure did. But why not? I was married for 13 years. I was, committed to this one man and all of that good stuff. And for me, it was what I needed. I needed to be able to know that for so long, like I lived in a sense of like, why isn't he choosing me? Why isn't he choosing me? And then it's like, hold on, hold on. I found my value, I found my worth. So it's like, let me choose, let me put myself out there, and I'm dating just to date. So now I'm at a different space. Now I want one man to fulfill all of those roles. At this point in time, he's not in my life, so I'm just betting. Like, I bet, like, who can fit this box? If you can, and it's all about compatibility. And it's not to say any man is better than another, lower than another, higher than another, but it's who works for me. It's that puzzle piece. So that's where I am now.
Cool. John said pros as professionals. So he basically edited the Ludacris song. It says, you know what it says. So he's like
Yeah,
pros, so
yeah,
professionals. John is a self proclaimed comedian.
yeah,
Ha!
yeah,
We
yeah.
gotta laugh at John. Laugh at John. So I wrote down a question as you was talking, because I thought about like serious relationships, because I know I've been married before, I've been divorced, I'm in now what I feel is a committed relationship. Of course, we're not married, so people feel like if you're not married, you're not in a committed relationship. I think that's bull. That's something we can talk about too. But do you think when you're in a committed relationship that you can still have a roster? Do you think you can still, because as we talked about earlier, yes, there are things that you do not want to sacrifice, but there's also, that your mate is going to have a shortcoming, and with that being the case, is it okay to have a male friend or female friend? We don't have to say male, female. We don't have to genderfy this. That you are able to go to and talk to about things that are going on in your relationship that you don't feel that your mate understands. And I'm gonna give you an example, because I don't want it to be people thinking that you going talking to your mate about sex. My child is in the doorway. Life of a mother. So like, just say for instance you're having a bad day, you cannot get yourself together, and you go to your mate and they are preoccupied, so you really don't want to bombard them with what you got going on. You see that they can't really give you the attention that you need. That's okay, people. I want y'all to know that's okay. That does not end the relationship. It happens. Those are things that are very normal. Is it okay for you to have somebody that you can call and be like, hey, this is what's going on, this is how I feel, and it not be a problem in a relationship, in your opinion?
And this is somebody of the opposite sex.
It doesn't have to be, because, and the reason why I say it doesn't have to be for us as females, because I think females are more sexually fluid than men are. So it's like, even if it's not of the opposite sex, there is a potential that it could lead to something that is sexual, if you understand what I'm saying. So like,
Got
it let's just say it's of the opposite sex for the purpose of what we're discussing.
got it. So it all boils down to what agreement do you have within the relationship. I was just talking to my kids about this, and I'm gonna break it down. I was talking to my kids about this because they were talking about something. They're young, and my daughter had asked my son, if you when you get a wife, are you gonna cook dinner for her and are you gonna rub her feet? And he was like, I'll do it 2 or 3 times, but if she don't do the same thing for me, then I'm gonna stop. And I said, hold on. I said, when I cook for you guys, I cook for you guys every night. Do I stop and say, you didn't cook for me, so I'm no longer going to cook for you after 2 or 3 days? And they were like, no. I said, why do you think that is? And he was just like, because you're supposed to cook. I said, that's the role that I choose. I don't have to cook. I said, y'all can eat cereal every night. You can, eat crackers for all I care. But the role that I choose as a mother is, this is the container that I want to have. And I told them, I said, your dad didn't want for anything. When it came down to laundry, when it came down to, cleaning the house, when it came down to conversation, I didn't share this with them, but when it came down to sex, like, whatever need he had, I was open and available and willing to meet it. Am I perfect? No. But the reason why I give that analogy and the reason why I shared that with my kids, I said, because you get to choose what type of person, what type of husband, what type of wife, what type of friend, what type of brother, what type of mother, what type of father do you want to be? Now, to link that in back to your question, I think that's what it all boiled down to. It's like, what type of standard do you have for your relationship? For some people, that's okay. For some people, if you want to have a friend that you can vent to, that you can, share your ins and out with, that's fine and that's okay. But it's, what standard do you want for your relationship? As for me and my relationship, I can honestly say, first of all, this is how I am in life, period. Anytime I share any part of me with someone else, a sacred part, like just being open, honest, like if I'm having a hard day, everybody don't get that. That's intimate, that's near and dear to me. I currently have one in a possible where I can go and I feel like I can share my everything with. And when I enter into this committed relationship, I want my partner to be able to know me and know my heart, that if I am sharing something with this one in a possible, that it's from a clean slate. That is no ill will in between. And that's how I am. That's how I operate. I can think these thoughts all day long, but if they can keep thinking and keep boiling and turning over in my mind, and it'll make the situation worse. But if I get it out, I may say some things that I don't mean. I may say some things that don't make sense, but just in me being able to release that, there's no ill will to anybody else, because my heart is pure when I do release it, and when I'm venting. But that's the standard that I desire for my relationship. But for some people, they can have that. Do I think that all people are capable of doing that? No, I don't, because some people go into it not unknowing that this is sowing seeds of an emotional connection. Like, when by me being open and sharing with you my ins and outs, it's opening up a space for us to become intimate. And whether it's physically intimate or emotionally intimate, it opens up that door.
So, that makes a lot of sense. Like, and I think that a lot of relationships get conscrewed because people don't understand that there is a potential for there to be platonic relationships where you are just sharing, you're just getting stuff off your chest. Because I have many moments and many times where I'm not trying to find nobody to be with. I just need to empty myself of the things that I am dealing with in order to find peace. 1 second. My bad. My child is doing the most today. So I wrote down a few things as you were talking. One thing you said, you talked about how there was nothing that your husband was lacking in your relationship. With that being the case, like, because I feel like as women, we feel that we go out of our ways most of the time to please these men. It's like, to me, let me get John's question before we continue, because I don't want to leave nobody out. He says, if a man is in a financial and life transition, are they worthy to date? Answer that question yourself, John, but I'm going to let Charelle talk to you.
Are they worthy today if they're wholeheartedly? Like, transitioning, I feel like that's one of those financial, I say that, but it depends on what your standards are. Because what is dating? Like, if, okay, perfect example for me. I feel that if I can't even meet my basic needs, there's no reason why I should be entertaining someone else to try to get them, because then you become womb mates. People mirror where you are. So that's why I say that. But financially, like, it's in your transitioning. If this is a, where's your mentality? Is do you feel broken, defeated in it? Do you feel depleted? Can you still provide? Can you still meet the person's needs, who you're dating? For me, I'm cheap. I don't eat meat. We go out on a date, I'm getting salad and fries or some type of vegetables and potatoes. So it's easy. Like, you can meet my needs without having six figures in the bank. But that's what it all boiled down to. Like, can you meet the person who you're courting? Can you meet their needs? My needs is more emotional time as opposed to financial stability. So I think that's what it all boiled down to.
And I can have a resounding I agree with her. And we gonna make John come on here in a minute if he got so many questions that he needs to ask. But because and what does financial transition mean? What does life transition mean? Like those are other things that I personally as a Virgo need to have broken down. Like I need to see fine print. What are you talking about? What are you financially transitioning from, of, in? Like we gotta have that conversation. But I was talking about being submissive. Do you think as a woman who has been married, as a woman who is now, in the dating world, that there's ever enough you can do to fully satisfy a man or a woman, because women cheat too. I want to be clear. I don't want men to think that I'm out here not holding us accountable for our actions. Is there ever anything in a relationship that you can do to keep a person from stepping out?
Okay. So first of all, I want to back up because I said that I was meeting all of my husband's needs. I was meeting all of his physical needs. Emotionally, I lacked. I didn't see him. I lacked in expressing vulnerability. I lacked in meeting those emotional needs. But physically, I could check that off easily, like no big deal. So I wanted to be clear on that. Now, can you meet a person's need and keep them from cheating? A person will cheat regardless. I don't think it's like, okay, if I do this, if I do that, then you're not going to cheat on me. A person will cheat because that's their character. For me, the men that like I've been dating, 1000% faithful, loyal, they've never cheated. Like that's what I attract in. I didn't even know it was like men, especially black men, like out there who never cheated and never have been in that position. But it really is. I think it boils down to the character. Who are they? And how you show up in one thing is how you show up in everything. Like I look at integrity. It's big to me. Like I can't do lying at all. Little white lies, big white lie. I don't care what kind of lie it is. A lie is a lie. So when you lie, like that has something to do with, it's a reflection of your character and what it is. So I think that's in alignment with cheating.
All right, they brought up another conversation. We out here. We just talking. We just chatting. Like every time she say something, I'll be like, "Oh, I got a thought." So, to speak of lies, I want to give you an example, and I want you to tell me if you think this is a lie, or you think it's an omission of information, or if you think that lies and omission of information are the same thing. So you're dating a guy, right? And you're dating a guy who brings other women around you who are his friends. You later find out from somebody else that he has been sleeping with these friends that he's bringing around you. You confront him about it. Like, where do you go from there? Is that like a get away from me, I can't talk to you, I can't deal with you anymore? Or is it like, why wouldn't you just tell me? Like, why wouldn't you just say to me, like, this person, these people are people that I've slept with? Like, how do you feel about a situation like that?
The type of person that I am, I'm gonna ask up front, like period. And even if it's a man, like I know the day and age that we live in, like you bring your male friends around, if he flipping his wrist or doing something, be like, hey, like you ever been with the man before? So like that's something that I ask early on. So if that information is omitted, first of all, I'm gonna ask. But if I wasn't the type of person where I did ask, if that information was omitted, it's a no for me. I don't care like what it is. If I asked you or like we have a conversation about our day or whatever, and you leave out this fact that, it could be something as innocent as I spent the morning at my mom's, like something innocent. There's a reason why you omit that information. It don't sit well with me. It don't. And the type of person that I am, like I'm so transparent, I'm so open, I'm so vulnerable. I then get into analytical mode and it breaks down the trust. So for me, it's like, nah, I'd rather not spend my time trying to rebuild trust on something that did not need to, be omitted.
What's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
Okay. I was just wondering because like I feel the same way. Like I'm on that same wavelength. Like and I am super transparent because like my motto and my motivation is I'm going to leave this world one day. So whatever I leave behind will not be something that is posted on billboards. And if it is, I'm not going to be here to see it. So like, am I really that concerned about it? So if I'm getting if I'm getting in a trusted, committed relationship with you, and we are growing and pushing towards something that should last forever, why are you omitting information? Like, I have no problem sharing me. And I'm not saying everybody is this way. And sometimes you have to meet people where they are, because not everybody will be the same way. And that's something I want females out there, males out there to understand. Just because Charelle and I are transparent, that doesn't mean we'll find mates who are transparent as well, because there are men out there who have dealt with traumas who feel like, oh, if you need my location, that means you don't trust me. And so now you got a whole nother problem in the relationship. So I feel like, find and meet people where they are, but also know that if you're in a committed relationship with somebody, not saying they will never, but you shouldn't have any fear of what this information that you give them will do to you. So if there's any lack of confidence in you sharing this, you're already in the wrong relationship. It's already a problem. Like, run. Like, and I'm being sincere, because I got married young, 17, and I didn't know who I was with. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what he would do. I didn't know how it was going to end. So as we are molding the next generation, we have got to be very specific in how we talk to them. We have got to stop saying these are babies and start learning that these are growing adults. And one day they're going to have to deal with the same things that we have dealt with. And if we prepare them now, will they be prepared? Probably not. But we will at least know in our hearts that we did everything we could to make sure that they didn't make the same mistakes that we made. Because I'm sure our parents kind of had that idea, but my parents was like, figure it out. You got this. Okay, so reciprocation. And we're going to wrap this up because we've been on here 36 minutes. It's crazy how fast time flies when you're just having fun and enjoying somebody. But reciprocation. You said that your son said that if this tramp ain't rubbing his feet after he been rubbing her feet, that he ain't gonna do it no more. And like, I'm there with him. Like, I can't plan all the dates. I can't cook all the food. Like, you got to do something sometime. Like, and so let me try to process this and give it to you in a place where you can respond in an open mind. So, like, when you're in a relationship, and I learned this from Derek. I absolutely love Derek Relationship Gumbo. Like, he is amazing. When you're in a relationship and you start doing things, you set the tone. And if you do not require that reciprocation from somebody right away, that becomes the tone that you live with. Like, you cannot just instantly expect them to change. So if you're getting into a relationship and you're planning everything, doing everything, you're going out of your way to make sure that they have everything, you're setting a tone for them. And that tone will dictate the relationship that you have. So in your opinion, how does reciprocation work? How do you assure that the things that you are giving are reciprocated? And there are love languages, so people may not give the same way you give, but how do you assure that they understand that you're giving to receive in the same way that you're giving?
I think going into a relationship is very important to know what's important to you and what you need. And again, those needs does change, but the biggest piece when it comes down to reciprocation is communicating those needs early on. Just like you said, when you date someone, you're setting the tone. So if you date someone, you go to their house is messy, all the time, they don't like cleaning, they don't like cleaning up after themselves. What makes you think entering into a long-term relationship, if you're OCD, and you need them, like, what makes you think they're gonna wake up at your place and make up the bed if they don't do it at their place? Like, if that's something that's important to you. Like, for me, it's not a huge deal. Like, it's not a deal breaker, but for some that just may be. But a lot of times we fool ourselves by going into a relationship and saying, like, especially with women, like, we give them passes, we look past the red flags. Like, we be like, okay, maybe he'll change, or I love him, like, he's sweet, he do this. I have one client now, woo, it's a struggle. But like for her, she's like, and I understand because I've been there. But for her, she's like, I don't hear from him 2 or 3 days in, and then he come around, and he spend a night and all of this good stuff, and then he get what he want, and then he go and he leave, and then I don't hear from him again. And I was like, and she was like, but I want to be in a long-term relationship with him. So I'm like, how does that work? If he's not communicating now, what make you think entering into this long-term relationship or giving this relationship a title is going to change something? And that's it. That's it. Like and it came out like for her, of course, doing the work that I do, I asked her, like, why do you think you're holding on to this relationship? And especially if it's not fulfilling and you're hurt, you're feeling a certain type of way. And for her, it was, he's the best that I've had thus far, so I don't want to let him go. And that's what we get into, like, because it's kind of like an addiction. Like, if you see the mice in studies, where they're addicted to like food or sugar or something like that, like they give them a drip and then they go days without it, and then they give them a drip again, and then they go days without it, but it makes them yearn for it even more. Like it sets off triggers in the brain. But then you have the mice in the studies where they're getting this constant drip, and as long as they're getting this constant drip, they're not like craving for it because their needs are being met. But when you give them like a little bit here and there, a little bit here and there, like it drives them crazy. But a lot of people make like they mix that up when it comes down to relationships, and they like, oh my gosh, like we got to make this work. I got to make this work. I got to make this work because I'm getting a little bit of my needs met, and they think that that's the answer to what it is that they want, when in reality it's really not. But long story short, reciprocation, it's all about setting that foundation in the beginning. If it's something, and knowing what's important to you, and yes, of course our needs will change, but it's very important to communicate that, and that's the biggest piece that it boils down to.
So first of all, ma'am, you're a sneaky link. Let's be clear about that. So that lady that you're dealing with, go ahead and tell her I see it. Second of all, what's your love language?
My love language is quality time.
Quality time. I am touched. I love to be touched. Oh my God. Touch me. Okay. We have been on here 41 minutes and I have enjoyed every single minute of it. We're going to close out with some mental health topics because, that is very near and dear to me, and that is what we're all about. Tell me, because we ain't talking about sex at all. We'll do sex on Instagram after dark. So tell me, how important is mental health to you in not only a relationship but the sexual aspects of the relationship?
Oh, mental health plays a part in everything. Like I tell people all the time, if you have your mental in check, you can conquer whatever it is that you desire. And the weight that it holds, if your mentality is not correct, like the first place it's going to show up is in the bedroom. How you show up, how you feel taking your clothes off, how confident you are, like all of that. And then even on the flip side, there are some who have sexual addictions because their mental is not in check, and they use that as their drug or as their choice of relieving pain. So it's very, 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 very important to have your mental, what is it called? Your mindset in place if you want to be successful in life. And in order for you to feel good, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Like, get it together, seek help, ask people. If something feels off, typically it starts there.
That is so true. That is so true. And today we're dedicating this show and dedicating all of our shows henceforth to a young lady and whoever else who is dealing with mental health. A young lady by the name of Akira Scott. She was a 15-year-old student at Murrah High School who recently left school and jumped off a bridge into traffic. That is by far the most terrible story I have heard my entire life. And it's so near to me and so dear to home Please love on your babies. And I feel like my purpose has been surrounded by her, because I know I'm not a perfect mom. I know I'm not a terrible mom, but it has made me hug and love on them that much more. There are children out here who are hurting, who find no peace in what they are doing. And there's, as a child, my only worry was, what kind of pencil was I going to use at school? Like, did I want to use a mechanical, or was I going to use a regular number 2 because the mechanicals was cool and everybody had them? That was my only worry at school. So for a child to have that much pain, we really have to be more aware of what we're dealing with and who we're around, not only as educators, but as everyday life, because she sat on a bridge and nobody stopped. Be aware of your surroundings. Akuria, for you, I will not use my phone ever again, because I want to be very aware when I'm driving of what's going on around. I apologize to you for whatever you were going through, but know that your life will not be in vain. And that is how I'm closing this evening. Charelle, give some parting shouts. Tell people how to follow you and what they need to do.
Yes. You guys me on Instagram at Charelle E. Thomas. The handle is down below. Hopefully you guys can see that, but yeah, you can find me there. I got some workshops coming up. Be sure to check me out. Lots of good things coming along the line, and my birthday is March 22nd, so I'll be doing it big. So make sure that you follow me, because I'm a big giver. I love giving things away, so there'll be some treats in store for you.
I want y'all to know I wore my shoulders out just for Charelle, because this was a sensual show, so I wanted to show a little shoulder, give a little shoulder, and take it back. That's my Cosby Show reference. So, like I said, be sure to follow her. Thank you so much for your time, Charelle. I am so happy that we had this conversation. Let's definitely schedule that after dark topic on Instagram, so we can really let the people know what we're talking about behind the scenes.
Thank you.
Love you, girl.
So much for having me.
Absolutely. I love you more. Let's chat soon, girl. Have a good night.
All right.
All right, guys, I am wrapping up. I just want to share this quick flyer with you guys. If you are in the Jackson area, if you have a heart, if you are a human, please do not hesitate to come through Friday, February 25th, 2022 at 6:30 in front of Murrah High School, which is off Woodrow. My tongue is doing all types of stuff, which is by Woodrow Wilson, which is off of Woodrow Wilson. And we're going to celebrate Akuria's life. We're going to make sure that no one goes a day in this city without knowing her name, without knowing her story. She is a beautiful human being who deserved all the love that anyone was willing to give, and she won't be forgotten. I'll be sure of that anytime soon. So come, bring candles, bring balloons. February 25th, Akuria, we are here. We hope you are in a better place, and we hope that you are at peace. You guys have a good night. Thank you for joining me.